I'll fly, and I'll fly into the end of the sky. So I'll be the one who doesn't have to say goodbye.
Hello guys, I'm Brony Shoutouts. This GRIMDARK reading called Discourse Doll. MLP Fanfic reading. GRIMDARK Mystery Tragedy Part 2. It is 29 minutes and 31 seconds long. Oh, yes. Okay, this is the part 2. We know that Fluttershy is dead. Dead. But and that pony died on the trip on the stairs. Like, I don't know if it was intentional or like it was planned. Was it murder? Discord is suffering to a certain degree because of Twilight's passing. So, but is Fluttershy basically Fluttershy could be just a puppet. Like I said, it's inferi like in Harry Potter. And I remember they went into the tree, into the house that seemed to have a house within the in the basement. I don't know how you can imagine it, but yeah. Okay, let's see what happens in part 2. In 3, in 2, in 1, go! Okay, here we go. Sparrow presents. Sparrow reads. Discourse Doll Part 2. Okay, let's go. Onto the music again.
Applejack found herself sitting by the window staring into the abyss. After discovering the Butler,
I thought we were underground.
Into their rooms, and until dinner they weren't allowed to leave. Unfortunately,
so they were
left to a room of little entertainment. At least Twilight had the book.
Like if there was a murder or something.
And Rarity had her sketch pad.
Of course.
Applejack.
They can't leave. Maybe Discord is doing something.
With nothing else to do, she was left to her thoughts. And after witnessing something
why
so
don't you hug a
horrific,
tree?
she could
That's
only
what you
think
can
about
do.
how that poor Stallion's friends and family would never see him again.
Oh,
About how they'd react to hearing such a thing.
Yeah.
Mere months ago, Applejack was in a similar position.
Oh?
It was a bright Tuesday afternoon. She was sitting on the porch with her brother and his wife, drinking some chilled cider and chatting casually.
It's maybe that's his wife then.
Sister running down to the farmhouse with her two best friends.
Apple Bloom?
The three looked to be in a panic, but it wasn't until they got within a few feet that she was clued in.
What's
when
that?
They did get close, AJ noticed something was off.
What?
Once they arrived on the porch, she figured out what it was.
What?
All three fillies happened to have crimson stains on them.
Blood?
Applejack had them on her forehooves. Scootaloo had it stained all over her face and body.
They
and
found the
Tinkerbell
body.
Had it in her mane. However, it was their eyes that said it all.
What?
They were shrunk to pinpricks, white and nervous.
They found Fluttershy's body.
Something spooked them a lot. Out of breath, all three fillies took greedy gasps at the air.
Colstein, where are you?
Quickly. Applejack shot out of her seat and ran up to the fillies, attempting to examine them closer.
It's Annie! She's
Before
alive!
She could, however, Applebloom cut her off.
Oh, what?
Through
Okay.
bated breaths, Applebloom stammered. It ain't what it looks like.
What?
Now Applejack had all of the pieces of the puzzle.
Oh?
At first, Applejack assumed a critter of some kind hurt them. But hearing her sister say that line flipped her suspicions.
Yeah.
With wide, horrified eyes, she looked down at the three fillies and asked,
What happened?
"What did you three do?" "I know it looks bad, but just
what?
hear us out."
Please, Applejack.
Sweetie Belle pleaded, gasping mid-sentence. She paused for a moment before continuing. It all started when we left the schoolhouse.
Oh? What happened then? What then? No! Oh, back in the past. Okay. Flashback.
Falls dashed out of the schoolhouse as class dismissed. Some lingered nearby, but others left the vicinity.
Quickly.
Three of which were the Cutie Mark Crusaders.
We are the Cutie Mark
So,
Crusaders.
girls, Apple Bloom asked, practically prancing along the dirt path.
Yeah, what?
What's on today's roster? I think we got the
Backing
day
uppers.
off. Sweetie Belle answered. I mean, it's possible some pony might need our help, but our...
Oh, they are the
schedules
Cutie
conflict.
Mark Crusaders, so do they have a helpline now?
Scootaloo exclaimed. I've got an idea.
What's
Let's
that?
go to Sugar Cube Corner.
Yes!
Oh, and don't worry about paying for anything. I've been saving up my bits, so if we stop by my house first, it'll be my treat.
Scootaloo's got a
With
house.
that, the trio went off to get the bits that they
Where does
needed.
Scootaloo live, actually? I've
However,
forgotten.
on their way, they heard some shuffling in an alleyway. Stopping to see who it was, they saw Fluttershy shifting through a dumpster and mumbling to herself.
Hey,
What is
Fluttershy-
she doing?
Why should have
Apple
done
Bloom
so,
asked.
though? Or been?
Getting curious, Sweetie Belle quietly walked over to the mirror, who looked and smelled like she hadn't taken a shower in days. She hesitated only for a moment before tapping her on the shoulder.
Fluttershy?
Fluttershy? Fluttershy snapped her gaze to Sweetie Belle, pausing. A few seconds went by with no exchange, only for tears to start flowing out of Fluttershy's eyes and a big smile growing on her face.
She's mad.
Angel! Almost immediately, Fluttershy plucked Sweetie Belle up in a death grip. Oh, Angel! She cried, her
What?
face covered in tears. I looked everywhere for you.
It's Scootaloo!
Adrenaline kicked in, and Sweetie Belle began to panic. Let me go! She stammered, squirming in Fluttershy's forelegs. Not getting her wish, she shouted. Let me go!
Let me go!
The other two Crusaders looked at each other and then back at Fluttershy. Fluttershy, let her go! Scootaloo demanded. Instead, she just squeezed tighter. I'm
She's-
so sorry, Angel.
She's
Fluttershy
hallucinating.
cried. I looked everywhere I could think of, but I couldn't find you. I'm sorry for leaving you out here on your own. Fight or flight kicked in for Scootaloo,
What
the
happened?
fight part winning.
Well,
She dashed over, grabbing a glass shard on the ground as she did. Standing
self-defense.
there, she shouted, Let her go!
Go!
On go, Scootaloo jammed the glass shard into Fluttershy's left shoulder.
Oh dear.
Blood
Painful.
spattered on Scootaloo's face and body, as well
Self-defense.
as hitting Sweetie Belle's mane.
Oh, come
She
on!
lost control, letting go and falling to the ground. Sweetie Belle also fell to the ground and began backing away from Fluttershy.
What's
She
wrong
saw
with you?
Fluttershy take a glance at Scootaloo, only to turn back to her. Pushing herself forward, Fluttershy grabbed hold of Sweetie Belle's tail.
Why though?
Angel, wait!
It's not
She
Angel!
shouted. You'll hurt yourself.
It can look after itself
Totally blind
if
to
it was
what
Angel,
going
but you know what I
on,
mean.
Pulled Sweetie Belle back towards her a bit. Before she could get Sweetie Belle any closer, a thud hit her head,
Ooh.
shoving it into the ground. Followed by another, and
You
another,
killed
and another.
Fluttershy?
Each time, the hits became harder, until eventually, Apple Bloom gave one last stomp with her forehooves. Fluttershy's skull caved. The once firm grip on Sweetie Belle's tail fell limp. Blood oozed out of every orifice, staining the ground
Oh my
and Apple
God.
Bloom's forehooves. Bits of her broken skull jutted out of her head.
You
and
killed-
bits of
the
Grimdark
CMC's
oozed
killed
out of the
Fluttershy.
split in her head.
But was it in self-defense though?
Standing up and gathering around Fluttershy, the three fillies stared at what they had done.
Was it Fluttershy though? It's sure
Sweetie
she
Belle managed
it
to
wasn't she wasn't a puppet or something.
We just killed a
Fluttershy.
mayor.
Yes, you did. You're a murderer. Or aren't you? I don't know. Confusing.
And then we ran here. Sweetie Belle explained, looking up at Applejack. It was self-defense.
Exactly.
After that, the memory of that day became blurry to Applejack.
Oh.
Everything hit her at once, and her brain became overwhelmed.
With
So it
information.
went into autopilot. Applejack, remembering the day she found out Fluttershy died, gave a side face and looked over to Rainbow Dash, who was sleeping peacefully.
But why?
She smiled.
Can't she?
seeing
Can
her girlfriend
Fluttershy
at
see
peace,
though?
And whispered, "Thanks, Celestia. I have your Rainbow."
Ship. Doors
Loud
open.
knocking woke her,
Come in.
finding herself back in the guest bedroom. The door creaked open, and the low voice of Primbright soon followed.
Oh,
"Good evening, Miss Applejack.
good
I
evening.
have orders to take you and your partner to the dining room.
Oh,
I trust she's here?" Getting up with a yawn and stretching her wings, Rainbow Dash called. "Yep, I'm here."
I'm here. Yep.
She moved towards the door, seeing Primbright waiting with a satisfied smile. "So, dinner's ready?"
Dinner's ready.
"Indeed,"
Indeed.
Prim affirmed, giving a nod. Turning, he began walking away, ordering, "Follow me, please."
Follow me.
Obeying, both Rainbow and Applejack began following the butler. Walking for a bit, they eventually made it to the stairwell to the first floor and began descending. "So, how long has this place been here?" Rainbow asked.
3
attempting
years.
Small talk. "The estate has been here ever since Discord moved in," Prim explained, not once glancing at either of them.
What?
"He didn't wish to occupy any of Miss Fluttershy's space, so he made this place to act as his living quarters. Though he may as well
So
want a house in
Discord
Ponyville,
built the
seeing
location?
size of this place. "How long have you worked here then?"
2 years.
Rainbow questioned, scratching the back of her neck. They finished descending the stairs and took a right into another hallway. Prim
How
sighed
big is this
and
place, man?
Soon after he moved here. You see, due to Miss Fluttershy's mental problems, Discord was having trouble keeping track of her.
Oh,
She'd wander all over the place, so it was our job to make sure she stayed inside the estate and to keep her clean and healthy. Jobs that, about a week before her death, we failed at.
oh yeah.
Their walking
time.
soon came to a stop as they approached the end of the hallway. In front of them were 2 giant doors with golden handles. Prim cleared his throat and announced, "Here we are." Opening the doors.
Here we are.
Inside was a long spruce wooden table with a live edge. There were
Long
8
table?
seats at the table,
8.
3 on 2 sides and 1 on the other 2
Quite a
sides,
small table then.
where all of their other friends sat. On the side closest to the door, Rarity sat on the far left. The opposing side had Twilight sitting on the right and Pinkie in the middle.
Chip.
On the left, however, was that thing Rarity mentioned. There before Rainbow was the hoof-stitched doll of Fluttershy.
Oh, come
Its
on.
eyes were made from cyan buttons, and its mane from a solid fabric. It drooped in its seat.
It's like a food doll.
Surprisingly,
It kind
it
of
was about
reminds
the
me
size
of
of a
Party
younger
of One a
foal,
bit, actually.
and it too had a plate. Rainbow!
It's despicable.
Applejack! Come in, come in!
Come in.
Discord's voice beckoned. Entering, Rainbow and Applejack took their seats. Rainbow sitting furthest from the doll. "I'm so glad to see you two. How have you two been?" "Well, Rainbow and I moved in together about a month ago,"
Oh,
Applejack responded, looking over at Rainbow Dash. Oh, and we just had our 13th date just last weekend.
Yeah.
How fascinating.
How fascinating
Discord
indeed.
commented. The door to the dining room opened again, and a servant entered. They swiftly poured out a glass of red wine for every pony, even the doll, only to leave seconds later. And what about you, Pinkie Pie? Still on that vow of silence, I take it?
Yes.
No. Pinkie mumbled, taking a sip of her wine. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's too painful for
A
her.
bit baffled as to what caused Pinkie to give in, Discord took a few seconds to process what she had said. Rainbow expected he'd try and get her to talk or blow up at her for quitting. Instead, he cleared his throat and moved on. So, Twilight. Discord questioned. How is Equestria doing?
I don't.
Twilight leaned her head on her left forehoof and replied.
How's it doing?
It's been quite busy lately, since
Oh?
housewarming being just around the corner. Heck, I was barely even able to. Before Twilight was able to finish, all of Pinkie's glass spilled onto her coat.
Flashback's
Rainbow's attention
depressed.
shot to Pinkie. Her ears twitched, and her left foreleg shook heavily for only a second,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pinkie stammered. Sorry, Twilight. Oh dear. Discord commented.
Oh dear.
Prim. He snapped his claws, but instead of bringing Prim to his location, he thoroughly cleaned off Twilight. The large doors opened, and Prim rushed in, prepared for anything.
Okay.
Sir, do you require something?
Yes, we do.
He panted.
We require Sparrow.
Just stay here and attend to the guests. Discord ordered. Pinkie, would you mind accompanying me in my study?
Why?
Receiving a nod, the two left the dining room with a snap of his talons. Rainbow looked over to the now unoccupied seats. Rainbow? Turning to see who called her name,
Who
she
called?
saw only her friends, who had moved on seemingly without her. As she continued to
Is that
look,
Flashback's
however,
soul?
something caught her eye. The doll's head was now tilted upward, leaning back against the chair.
Dude, that's creepy.
Had some pony moved it when she wasn't looking? And you expect me to forgive her for that?
The doll's alive.
She called my sister a murderer. In fact, she called your sister a murderer too.
Murderer.
Rainbow's ear caught her yelling. Rares. Applejack scolded. She apologized. Can't you forgive her? Let bygones be bygones?
Yes.
Discord did with me, and I did with Rainbow, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I did move on. Rarity corrected. We're still friends, and we still talk normally.
Do
If
we?
it's forgiveness you desire, I'm sorry to say I can't give it to her. She broke my little sister's heart, and probably your sister's too. She had no right to do so.
Oh? What would you do in that
Though she didn't
situation,
say a single
Rarity?
word, Rainbow Dash silently agreed with Rarity. After all, she couldn't forgive the Crusaders, so why should they forgive her? But Rarity, she wasn't in the right mindset. Applejack explained.
Yeah.
None of us were.
No, there weren't.
She felt a warm, fuzzy feeling growing in her body as she came to realize just how much her girlfriend cared for her.
Yeah.
It had been 2 months since the funeral, yet here she was, Applejack defending her tooth and nail without hesitation.
Oh, this.
She honestly.
This is
couldn't have found a better partner.
This is
Their argument
disturbing.
slowly faded from Rainbow's attention, her eyes meeting once again with the doll. It moved. Not when she was looking. It moved its foreleg up and supported its head with it as soon as her eyes met its button ones. Rainbow? Can you hear me?
No, it's
Her
windy.
heart sank.
Oh.
F-
Flashlight?
She kept stuttering. staring at the doll with its unblinking button eyes. Whispering so no
It's
pony
not a
could hear
button
her,
mash, is it?
she asked. Fluttershy?
Fluttershy?
Rainbow, please, you have to help me. The doll had an echo in its voice.
What's going
It
on?
was no doubt very similar to her.
Yeah.
But it couldn't actually be her. Could it?
Her soul lives
I'm
on
trapped.
in the doll.
I can't leave. No pony will let me leave.
Discord?
The doll moved its hoof away again, sitting up in the seat. A waterfall of chills ran down Rainbow's spine.
Oh,
The
dear.
doll was practically shouting, though to be fair, it kept Fluttershy's passive voice. Yet despite this, no pony noticed this.
No?
No pony could observe this.
No. They
She
can't.
knew for a fact what she saw was happening.
Yeah.
After all, she was observing it. She thought for a moment.
She doesn't
trying to
believe it
figure
though, but
out
it's
how
happening
this
right in
was
front of her.
happening.
That's like
Discord
ghosts,
had
isn't it?
super crazy magic, so he must have been manipulating it somehow. Rainbow,
Chaos
please,
magic.
get me out of here. Discord was playing a sick, twisted game with just her.
Yeah.
Whether intentional or not, she was sure of it.
Yeah.
Taking comfort in her explanation,
But how did
Rainbow tried to
Fluttershy
ignore the
get?
doll's
How did she get Fluttershy's voice in
The
there
doll
though?
whimpered, slumping down into the chair lifelessly.
How do you separate your soul though?
Dinner is served,
What's for dinner?
Prim announced, the door swinging open. Around 5 ponies, all in the same uniform,
It's
carried trays.
Don't say Pinkie's dead now.
Swiftly, they each placed the items on the guests' plates. A whole banquet of food slowly filled the table, most certainly being cooked by a professional.
Oh.
Mouth-watering cherry pie, piping hot tomato soup, gooey 5 cheese sandwiches, doughy baguettes, and so much more.
So much more.
Every
It's a
pony
feast.
gawked at its beauty, their eyes glaring at the flavorful food greedily.
Yeah.
Twilight took up a fork and knife, cutting a small piece of pie for herself.
What's in the
others
pie?
grabbing food for themselves as well. Taking a small bite, she remarked, "This is way better than what they make at the castle." Carrying the chime of a wine glass, every pony turned to see Prim holding an empty wine glass. "Attention, attention,"
Attention.
Prim called. "Master Discord wished to relay a message to you.
Well,
Seeing
what's
he's
that?
busy with Miss Pie, I shall perform this task.
What
He
task?
wished to thank all of you for taking the time out of your schedules to join us during these troubling times.
Yeah.
After
And
such trials and tribulations, it was no doubt hard to work in time, not to mention us swarming on top.
yeah.
Here's to you and another year of friendship to come."
Friendship.
While
call
everybody
this
raised
friendship?
Their glass to Discord's message, Rainbow noticed something she hadn't before.
What?
Looking over to the doll, who at this point was limp again, she noticed a small red stain on her left shoulder that trickled about halfway down her foreleg.
She's a
"Really?"
ghost?
Rainbow muttered, setting down her glass. An hour of eating later, every pony found themselves stuffed to the brim.
Yeah.
Discord, about halfway between the meal, returned along with Pinkie Pie.
Oh.
Whatever occurred had been solved, as
I
far
hope
as
so.
Rainbow knew. The doll stayed limp for most of the dinner, only occasionally moving its head to face a different direction.
It's still disturbing though.
Throughout the whole dinner, it begged and begged for Rainbow to listen to her. It
Listen to
whined
me.
loudly, little echoed sobs following its words. Rarity and Applejack spent the time continuing their debate as they ate, the former taking numerous attempts to move away from it.
No, you can't do that,
At
can you?
one point, Rainbow was dragged into their conversation, but ducked out of it by the time Discord returned.
Oh. Okay.
Twilight stayed silent until Pinkie came back, not eating much. She sat, slumping in her chair,
Okay.
pulling away with her
Flush.
food.
Twilight hasn't eaten as much then. Okay.
Finally, Pinkie managed to engage in conversation, a new benefit of quitting the vows she made.
What?
It
Pinkie?
wasn't anywhere near the old Pinkie Pie,
No.
her depressed attitude still showing prominently,
That's
but Twilight
okay.
seemed to enjoy talking to a friend she hadn't in so long.
Oh.
Discord made small banter among all of them, and even Prim a few times,
Yeah.
but was mostly silent during the dinner. Rainbow quickly picked
Silence.
up on the changes in
The
him.
sound of silence.
He was too reserved, and his manners had increased drastically.
Oh?
She didn't notice a single jab at some pony. Quite the opposite.
Oh? What?
During Rarity and Applejack's ranting, Discord attempted multiple times to de-escalate the argument, even though the two ignored it.
Yeah. I
He
would.
really had changed since Rainbow last saw him, which brought up why he controlled the doll.
Why do you control the
Fluttershy
doll?
had acted similarly during the latter half of her mental spiral, continually thinking the world was against her.
Oh?
Perhaps he wanted a redo on what happened, a second chance at protecting her from her mental state. Or maybe he just wanted her, and the part he remembered most was when she was spiraling.
Out
Rainbow
control.
Dash concluded he wasn't trying to mess with any pony. In the past, maybe, but not now.
Oh?
Currently, Discord was too distraught by her death to do that. He was different.
I kind of
and she
believe
just
that though.
needed to accept
think.
the strange coping mechanism, which was easier said than done.
Yeah.
Though it stayed silent, the constant stare of the doll's unblinking button eyes kept Rainbow on edge, and the permanent smile only added to it.
It,
She just needed to
you
get
can't
through the dinner and the night.
de-escalate
After
it, really,
that,
can you?
she could go home, back to Sweet Apple Acres, and pretend like she never saw it. She'd struggle, but she was a confident, strong pony. If any pony could power through the unsettling nature of the doll, it was her.
Oh? Oh yeah, okay.
Rainbow, please, listen to me. Please. The doll whimpered to her, its echoing voice bouncing off the walls.
Listen to me,
The
Rainbow.
voice was uncanny, yet distorted, as Rainbow remembered. Please, don't leave me here.
Rainbow, do
Just
something!
An hour more, and she'd be away from that doll. Rainbow! Just shut up already!
Oh God, Rainbow!
Rainbow shouted, clenching her eyes shut and yanking her ears from her forehooves. Every pony froze, looking back at her. A second passed without a word before Rarity scoffed. Well, I never!
Why never?
Rarity huffed and turned away, Applejack looking back at Rainbow. Another moment passed before Applejack quietly muttered, Sorry. Lifting her glass of wine to her muzzle, she took a long sip before setting it back down. So? Pinkie started, trying to move away from the awkward exchange. Twilight, how's Spike doing? As she finished,
Change
she
the subject.
attempted to smile, though the corners of her mouth barely turned upward. Rainbow, please, just pick me up and leave, please. I said,
Shut up!
Rainbow slammed her hoof down on the table, her eyes glaring at the doll. Twilight opened her mouth to talk, but was interrupted.
Can Rainbow only hear this then?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! But
Rainbow Dash can Rainbow Dash can hear the voice, but the other ponies can't then. What the fuck's that?
having been fed up by the doll's annoying begging, Rainbow threw her ceramic plate at it, growling with frustration. It smashed down onto the doll's head. What she could only assume was blood splashed everywhere, staining the chair it sat.
I thought bus would dry up
What in
though.
the world? Discord asked, shocked at Rainbow's outburst. He snapped his claws and the smashed plate repaired itself.
Magic.
Pinkie's ears began twitching again, this time at a much faster rate. Her left foreleg shook violently, accidentally knocking into Twilight hard.
Oh no, someone's gonna die, someone's gonna die, somebody's gonna die.
Crying
Twitchy
with
tail.
loud sobs. The blood slowly began to fade into the chair as the doll recovered. Rainbow wasn't in the mood for sympathy. She knew Discord was behind this and knew he was messing with her.
Yeah.
Now it was clear. Rainbow stood up from her chair and turned towards the 2 double doors. She walked up to them and took a deep breath inward, exhaling thereafter.
And went to it.
I'll be in my room.
What can you escape
opening
though?
the
It's
door.
not, you don't want to be here?
So much for putting up with the doll, she thought.
To be continued. Okay, that was Disco Doll Part 2. Okay, at the start of the story, I mentioned when the CMCs were explaining to Applejack what happened, it reminded me so much of Mart and Annie. I'm like, they found Annie, didn't they killed Annie. Oh my god, they killed Annie! I'm like, even Sparrow agrees with me as well. Like, oh my god, seriously, Mark, seriously. Then we had like a flashback moment where the CMCs met Fluttershy, and Fluttershy wasn't in her right state, so to speak. Were in the right state. And because I expecting Fluttershy was either hallucinating or she was blind or something was affecting her in a mental way or something, and she picked up Scootaloo thinking it was angels. I can talk to angels anyway. So, I can talk to angels.
Seriously?
Sorry, I'm Bloom. Really am sorry. So, yeah. Then the CMCs, or in quote the word self-defense, killed Fluttershy, and Applejack kind of forgives what happened, what they did, but all the other ponies did not. And I don't know what's happened to the CMCs now. Where are they in all this now? Have they been committed to murder, or has it been successfully proven it was self-defense? Because I'm not too sure. Also, I expect that probably Fluttershy's soul is in the doll, or some chaos magic, hence Discord is controlling the doll with his magic. Well, because I did have an infrared sort of feel to it. But the doll has blood in it. It kind of reminds me of that ritual that you can do. I'm not saying you should do it, where you stuff salt inside like a bear or something, like a plushy toy, and that plushy toy comes alive. Yes, I've seen it on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's real, but even if it is real, I would not recommend it at all, because you're creating dark magic or satanic magic inside the thing. Yes, I'm not sure if is like a certain way, but this way it's actually a living, maybe it's basically Fluttershy's soul in the doll, but is it still Fluttershy? Because they had a funeral, but is that actually Fluttershy in the grave, for example? And how did Discord do this? And Fluttershy is talking to Rainbow Dash, but I don't think the other ponies along the table can actually hear Fluttershy. Maybe it's a connection sort of thing. Maybe it's a connection thing, best friend sort of thing. I don't know, but we won't know into part 3. I think it's definitely a grimdark. It's definitely a tragedy. It's definitely a mystery. but the mystery deepens. There's more tragedy in the readings, I think. Maybe more deaths. That sounds so much Snape, isn't it? Yeah, more deaths. But we don't know why why Discord is doing this in the first place. Thing is, we don't actually know until next time. And there are some unanswered questions, definitely. But till then, we don't know. Well, on that note, hope you like this reaction, and all my reaction videos I do, and I'll see you next time. Oh, yes.
And I'll fly until the end.